Hello and welcome to this Come to Jesus Daily devotional. I trust you are well. Today we continue in our Christmas series from the Gospel of Luke. And today we reflect upon the unusual and often humble beginnings of his work and how we all have to endure wilderness seasons when God is working in us in order to work through us. We read about John the Baptist in Luke 1 verse 80, and the child grew and became strong in spirit, and he lived in the wilderness until he appeared publicly to Israel. Firstly, we read that the child became strong in spirit. We are told that John grew and became strong in spirit. The Zondervan Evangelical Commentary describes the meaning of this phrase. Quote, it means that he, God, develops the inner resources for the understanding and performance of God's will. Close quote. He, John, that's John, and we need to develop the maturity and understanding to do God's work. Like David in the fields with the sheep, God develops us as he developed John, as he developed David in obscurity. You and I need to grow, don't we? And I certainly know I need to grow. God continues through the experiences of our lives to mature us for the work that he wants us to do. Added to this, a very important lesson from this is that if we are parents, we must help our children to grow strong in spirit. This is clearly not principally about material things. One grows strong in spirit by nourishing the spirit on the things of the spirit. In the New Testament, parents are instructed, Ephesians 6:4 for example, fathers, do not exasperate your children, instead bring them up in the training and instruction of the Lord. Whoever we are, we're to learn from this that God is working in us to make us strong in spirit. So let's listen and learn the lessons he wants to teach us. John endured this, and even of Jesus we are told in Luke chapter 2 verse 40, and the child grew and became strong. He was filled with wisdom, and the grace of God was on him. Even Jesus had to grow and mature and be ready for his ministry. And that's true of John, it's true of the heroes of faith, it's true of us. So firstly, the child became strong in spirit. Secondly, he lived in the wilderness. We're told that John's development happened in the wilderness. Like Jesus, John had very humble and inauspicious start to his ministry. This is no Ivy League start to his life and calling. My dad used to say of people, they were born with a silver spoon in their mouth, and John the Baptist certainly wasn't that, neither was Jesus, nor was many of the heroes of faith in the Bible. John's beginnings remind me of Moses, whose ministry began after 40 years in the desert. David also comes to mind, who had to flee to the desert, to a cave, before he became king. Maybe Ruth comes to mind, who had to endure the death of her husband, becoming a beggar, leaving her homeland, before she becomes the wife of Boaz and the mother of David's grandfather Obed. God likes to remind us in his word of how he chooses to use the unlikely to do great things. And we're to endure these seasons, and we can endure these seasons knowing that God is working in us in order to work through us. So in response today, we've reflected upon the unusual and often humble beginnings of his work and how we all have to endure wilderness seasons when God is working in us in order to work through us. God wants us to grow and become strong in spirit, and we do this through the nourishment that the Spirit gives to us. Added to this, we often have to go through long seasons when we feel in the wilderness. Let's trust that God is with us and is being purposeful. This Christmas, there are many good things to spend our time on, but few things truly nourish us. How will you ensure that you grow and become stronger in spirit this Christmas. God bless you.